All right, you guys. You're watching the Sports Political Channel LB. I'm back at y'all with another video. I wanted to do a deeper dive into the situation regarding Juwan Howard, uh, and him throwing a punch at the Wisconsin Badgers assistant coach. Now, the name of the assistant coach they that caught the punch was Joel Krabenhoft. So where we at with this? So what happens now? Because in all likelihood, he gets suspended. He gonna get suspended, if not a few games, because it's not like Michigan's gonna make the NCAA tournament or whatever like that. But I think a deeper thing goes into play here because when it comes to the whole white supremacist dynamic, when it comes to the white supremacist dynamic, you cannot leave anything up to chance. Now, I think they're going to pressure him to file assault charges against Juwan Howard. Juwan Howard threw that punch at Joe Krabenhoff, the assistant coach of Wisconsin, that led to that brawl between the two schools. Because remember, they're looking at Juwan Howard is a black man in America. Okay. You know how they deal with black men in America, right? We got black men going to jail for 12 years over 8 ounces of marijuana. What's it not say that Joe Krabenhoff filed assault charges against Juwan Howard? Just putting that out there, right? Because when we're dealing with the white supremacist dynamic, you cannot leave nothing to chance. You cannot assume anything. So I need more information as to what was said. Did Greg Gard say something racist? I need to know what was said that triggered Juwan Howard into throwing that punch. More often than not, typically, Juwan Howard is a mild-mannered individual. He really don't get things picked. He really don't get pissed off at a whole bunch of stuff, right? Was he pissed off over the timeout that was called? What triggered Juwan Howard to throw that punch? Because I just don't see this ending well for Juwan Howard, bro. I just want to point this out because we know how white media does black people in America, man. They want to call them angry. They would call them thugs. They would use all kinds of dog whistles and innuendos to try to demonize and desecrate the name of Juwan Howard. They're going to roll out the same playbook about Juwan Howard. Now, Juwan Howard, before the incident, he is, this guy has worked very hard in the NBA. He did 20 years in the league, did a few more years as an assistant coach, right? Couldn't get no job in the NBA. Would have been, despite the fact there were multiple openings for multiple coaches and stuff like that. And he finally landed a gig at Michigan, his alma mater, right? He was part of the Fab Five during his playing days at Michigan. And he made Michigan relevant again. This is he will give them all the ammunition in the world, right? These white supremacists in the mainstream media, these racists in the mainstream media, right? He gave them all the ammunition in the world to point him as an angry black man, to point him as some thug, some gangster, all that shit. And I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Krabenhoff, someone in his family, whether it be, I don't know if the man's married or not, but let's just assume he is married, right? He goes back home, they go to the hospital or something like that. No, treat for no treat, make sure there's no injuries or whatever like that with him, and then they're gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if someone in his family pressures him to go after Jawan Howard for simple assault. Watch what I tell you. You cannot leave nothing to chance when it comes to these white folks, bro. You cannot leave nothing to chance. You cannot assume anything when it comes to white supremacy. Now they're gonna make an example of Jawan Howard. Watch what I tell you, because firing him will be the least of his worries, right? Firing Jawan Howard will be the least of his worries. I need to know what was said. I need to know what was said that triggered that, because this is not over by a long shot. We just got to stay tuned. And why I don't agree with Jawan Howard going out there doing that, because this is the thing, right? When you're in that position as a head coach or something like that, you're a leader of men. That means you got to be the glue that holds everything together when things go awry. You cannot be the cause of everything going awry if you're the head coach. You know what I'm saying? So when players get out of whack, you got to be the ones that bring them back in alignment, right? When the player's down, you got to be the one that lifts them up. When when they get too high, you got to make sure that they understand that you can't get too high on this. You need to understand that this can all come crashing down. He needs to be the glue that holds everything together. He cannot be the reason things get torn apart. So, as my man Alex Heron just hit me up on Facebook, and salute to the brother Alex Heron, big time Michigan Wolverine fan. I know if anybody would know, he would know. I'm having technical difficulties with my computer right now, so I can't even see what was the message about. Probably regards to Jawan Howard and the post game press conference and all that. So that's the whole thing behind Jawan Howard and the Michigan Wolverines and all that. We just got to see the fallout from that, because I've seen cases where we've seen white coaches punch players and stuff like that, and they actually got fired. I remember a coach at was it Rutgers that did that. He punched a player. He punched one of his players, and they ended up firing his ass. So, man, in all likelihood, old boy might be a goner, man. I'm telling you. I think Jamal Howard might be a goner, man, for real, because this is crazy. I would never, in my wildest dreams, would see Jawan Howard of all people snuffing a motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? So, man, we just got to see how all this plays out. Of course, as soon as I get more information, I'll pass along this channel, because I'm very interested to see what they're gonna do with Jawan Howard. How they're gonna label him in the media. So, and I'm about to play a clip from that post game press conference. So we're gonna play that clip, and then we're gonna break it down even more. as to what was said, who did what, all that. So as I'm trying to pull up the information as we speak as to what happened. But yeah, man, if you're Juwan Howard, you cannot do that. That is, and I'm pretty sure he knows better than that. But the damage is already done. But we've seen white coaches get fired for less. So, man, that's not good for Juwan Howard, man. I'm just trying to tell y'all, this is not going to be good for that brother, man. They're going to put his ass through the ringer and just give anybody and everyone an excuse to spout their anti-black racism. I know how this works. I've seen it too many times to where, black men get demonized through the media over stuff they had nothing to do with, over the stuff they didn't commit, and yet Juwan Howard just gave these racists a goddamn going avenue to destroy him now. They're going to destroy his character. They're going to destroy everything about Juwan Howard, everything he stood for, everything he's built for, all that. They're gonna throw all that into question now. Because I know how these white media members work. They're gonna rake this man's name through the coals, man. Well, I'm having technical difficulties right now with my computer, so hold on. Okay, there we go. We're gonna stay right here, and then we're dealing with kids too, right? You already know what it is, Octavius. You already know what's going to happen. Is like, what kind of example is that? He's a leader of kids, and kids shouldn't be subjected to this kind of activity. He was unprofessional, and all this other nonsensical stuff that they say, right? Now, let's get to it.
Acting with class, and that didn't happen today. It's unfortunate what transpired. I've been in contact with the league. I've spoken to the commissioner personally. I expect the league is going to act swiftly and aggressively. We've got staff that have been affected and injured, hit the face. And it's difficult for me to compose myself in the defense of our staff and our team, who did not instigate this event. And it's clearly captured on the television feed today, and I'm not sure what will take long in addressing this.
Great.
Sure. It's unfortunate that overshadows a fabulous day for Wisconsin basketball. To be able to honor Michael Finley and his teammates, I know he brought a lot of them along, or a lot of time in the locker room. You couldn't walk in and after the game. Coach Jackson was in there, coaching Callum. And then also how our team played, specifically in the second half. I thought they played really well. It's really good things on both ends of the floor. And it was a good team victory. Unfortunately, hopefully it will be overshadowed by the incident there at the end. And I'll walk you through my last 15 seconds of the game. So we only have 4 seconds to get the ball across half court. Okay, the official comes over to me and says, Greg, if you take time out, you'll get a full 10 seconds. There was 15 seconds on the shot clock and the game clock left. that I had all the reserves in. I was not going to put them in a position where the ball had already got knocked out of bounds to have to break a press in 4 seconds when they're coming cold off the bench. So I took a timeout, which I'm allowed to do, obviously, and brought over and tried to get organized. And all been on the floor pressure situations before, and I want to give them the best chance to have success coming up the floor. And tell them we're not going to shoot the ball. All we're doing is get the ball, break the pressure, come up, and we'll dribble out the clock. So we got the full 10 seconds to break that press instead of 4 seconds. So we're on the spot, we got organized, and that is the situation that he apparently was upset with.
We'll go ahead and take questions for either principal or Rick.
Yeah. Ricky, explain what happened in the line that ended up leading to that situation.
Yeah, as I was walking through it, I know he didn't come through right away. He came in later after some players was going down the line with everybody. They were all fine. And he came up to me and pulled his max down and said, "I'll remember that." He started pointing at me and tapped me in the chest. And I said, "Hold on. Let me explain to you why I took the timeout." Maybe he doesn't know the rule that you get the 10 seconds reset. I wasn't going to put my players in that type of situation and have to break a press in 4 seconds. It's difficult off the bench. I would.
Oh, back up a second, Greg Gard. Let's back up a second. How do you know that he did not know that rule? How do you know that he didn't know that rule? See, that's that bullshit right there. Already. Didn't I not tell y'all what was the deal? Now you trying to call the man ignorant for getting pissed off about you calling that timeout. Look, I don't condone what Juwan Howard did, but for you to say that he didn't know that rule, that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Do that for a regular group. I can take a timeout. That's it gives my players the best chance to have success. So that's where it started. That he said, "I'll remember that. I'll remember that." And I said, "Hey, let me tell you why I did what I did." And he didn't want any part of it. And, kept moving on. So that's unfortunately, like I said, it overshadowed momentarily. I'm not going to let it overshadow it much longer than once I walk out here. And we're in fact, there's no questions around about that. Our team played really well in the second half, and we got a damn good team.
Jim, Chris, or good, one of you, you said staff was injured. Is that Joe Memberhawk, or is there anybody else that was injured? I'd love for us to see him as well.
Yeah, Jim, I think we're assessing the situation right now, so I think I'll just hold comment on that.
Yeah, and I know,
Yeah.
I know it's competitive heat and sport, but when you see one of your assistants, in this case Joe, get smacked upside the head, and the opposing coach, what runs in your mind?
It's best that I haven't seen any of the video really, Jeff, so I didn't see that live, so, I mean, I've been told different things, and, I'll comment on those people that are making those decisions, go on from there, maybe I'll learn more as I look at things and we move forward.
Greg, Juwan, described what set him off as you putting your hands on him, which you just described as wanting to explain yourself. I guess, do you feel you were overly aggressive in putting your hands on him to start?
Sure. Coach Card hasn't had a chance to see the video footage. I have. I think the footage speaks for itself, and I think it speaks in Greg's favor.
And you haven't mentioned it, but I mean, did it bother you at all that they were in? Would you call a press in the final minute? Or
That's their, they can do that, play the game all the way out, and we did the same thing by taking the time out to help my players get organized.
Yeah. Chris, can you describe what was shared in the whole conversation with the commissioner?
Jeff, just to summarize, I can share with you, the commissioner understands the significance of what happened. The commissioner understands the standard with which the Big Ten is expected to operate in terms of sportsmanship, safety. I'm confident, having spoken with him, that this will be handled appropriately, and I expect to hear from him soon.
Chris, over here. You've talked about the commissioner handling it appropriately, but from our perspective, it looked like some UW players were in trouble. In the past of it all, do you anticipate specifically for the facing repercussions because of his interactions with the chaos?
Yeah, it's difficult to know what to anticipate right now, so I wouldn't make any predictions.
Steve, right, how would you characterize your relationship with Juwan before today, and did y'all have any communication at all whatsoever after this year?
I would say it's, he obviously has been in the league as long as so many others, so there isn't the time. It is different in terms of time in the league, and no, we haven't had any discussion about that.
Greg, I have questions about the game now for
Thank
you.
you.
Something that I noticed in today was it really felt like your best players had a really great game. He scored 6 points, Wilson had 6 rebounds, and Briscoe had a huge first half. Can you just comment on what you saw from them specifically today and why you kind of blew up today?
Yeah, I thought they did a good job. Obviously, Jacoby coming in, some help in the backcourt. He gave us some good minutes. Chris, defensively against Hunter Dickinson, who's a very tough cover, really good player. And then obviously Ben. I thought Ben grew as the game went on. I thought the first half he was a little tentative, timid at times, going after some opportunities. Off to the second half, I thought he took steps forward and grew. It's good to see.
Yeah. Greg, early in the second half, Michigan went on that run. They were up 30-33. You called timeout. Your team's been in that situation earlier this year. Can you share what your message was during that time and what you saw that they responded appropriately?
Yeah, like always, usually in those situations, let's just calm down and get back to ourselves. Let's get the shots we want to get. Let's make sure we're taking care of the ball defensively. We talked through that one little ball screen they ran, or action where Dickinson got the dunk, and they talked how to cover that better. And just let's collect ourselves, calm down, we'll be okay.
Coach, Dickinson had 15 first half and 26 in second. What changed for you guys?
Yeah, I thought Steve and Chris both did a good job defensively. Made the catches a little harder, and that when you can't, that's most defenses. Not letting them catch the ball. And we had some good ball pressure too. We were able to get some help from the backside at times. But I thought Chris took steps forward defensively from half one to half two.
Abby?
I wanted to go back to Jacoby for a second. He hasn't scored in 6 games until today. Was there just a different energy about him, or is it just him finally getting over that hump a little bit?
Well, I think his teammates put him in a good position. He drove once off the ball screen, got downhill in the second half, played off 2 feet. Recipient of Brad making a play against pressure, at the free throw line 4 times. So he took advantage of opportunities.
Man, I don't care about that. All right, so you just saw the interview with the athletic director of Wisconsin and the head coach of the Wisconsin Badgers, and Greg Gard. Now we're going to play the clip for Juwan Howard's press conference. Get his perspective of what went down. So here we go.
Were you upset that the game got extended?
Oh, yes, I was. I would like timeout being called, and I'll be totally honest with you. I thought it was, not necessary at that moment, especially being a large league. And then for that timeout, be called 3 seconds, 4 seconds ago. I thought that was, I felt wasn't fair to our guys. And so that's what happened.
Just all of you wanted the game to get done. Why did you not sign against Wisconsin backups at that point?
It wasn't a question. It was just 5 pressure defense, man to man. That's what 5 is for us.
John, you're saying somebody, what happens between being upset about a timeout being called and raising it to a point where it looked like you hit another coach in the face? What kind of happens in between to make that happen?
Well, basically, I trust the head coach that I will remember that because of that timeout, and for someone to touch me, and I think that was very uncalled for him to touch me as we were verbalizing and communicating with one another. So that's what ended up happening. That's what escalated.
Yeah, I guess if you could, expand on that a little more, like what?
No, I'm not expanding on it. I've shared with you the story, what happened.
Well, as far as touching, I mean, obviously, it's obvious touching the handshake line, there must have been more than that.
Oh, yeah, more than that. Yeah. Touching me unnecessarily wasn't cause for that when we were talking. And at that point, I thought that was, time to protect myself.
Was there anything earlier in the game besides the timeout I could see?
Oh, no. Wisconsin did a really good job in the second half, making adjustments on defense. Give credit to their staff, give credit to the players. Like we talked about before, we came out in the second half with a run. Defensively got stops when we needed. Then when they made their run, unfortunately, we had some shots that were open that were clear shots, particularly 3-point shots, that they didn't fall down. They just didn't go down for our guys, but we got some really good looks. They went back down, and Johnny Davis did a really good job of attacking the paint, finishing too many paint touches in the second half for Johnny Davis. But he's a very special player, very gifted, and Wisconsin put him in a position to take advantage of our defensive lapses.
Steve, over on the right.
Are you anticipating this might result in any sort of suspension or anything for you later this season?
Well, I respect, whatever the Big Ten decisions they make. It's up to them, and I will respect whatever decision they end up making.
Abby, back. Right.
Over here. I have a question about the game for you. Wisconsin's bench players haven't been contributing a lot, but in this game, Jacoby Meade, Chris Lowe, and Ben Carlson all had big moves. Was there something that you saw differently about them than what you prepared for?
Well, we always prepare for it. Every guy is, I've seen them touch the floor for Wisconsin, and they have a really good team, and deservedly so. They deserve to be, ranked where they are. They do a really good job of playing, team basketball, sharing the game. Defensively, they're very solid on the defensive end. They have a deep rotation. I commend the young guys for stepping up at home, especially during a special time when they celebrate. A fellow, Badger who does some special things here at this university. The guy I'm speaking of is Michael Finley. So we expected a sellout crowd. We expected the team to come out with a lot of energy and effort.
Johnny Davis so difficult to contain.
He's improved a lot since last season, and thinking back to some of his growth, he's added the attack downhill. He's relentless in getting to the paint. He has a nice temperament about his game where he doesn't rush anything. He gets to his spots, whether it's finishing layups or pull-up jumpers. He's also very good in the pinch post area. Whenever the defense does, he's showed a lot of growth and being patient and taking advantage of what the defense gives him. A lot of work he put in the offseason leading up to this point.
John, your wife talked about the family and protecting family, but I guess when it then leads to more players jumping into what became a fight.
Unfortunately, it was it had like that. Didn't like being that way. But you know what? I respect our young men for saying what they're saying as far as we are a family truly, but did not want it to be in a situation where it escalated like that.
We have time for two more, Coach.
Basketball question.
Anything else to Coach? All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right, so you just saw the interview with Jawan Howard after the game and his angle as to what led to the situation. Right now, I want to show y'all something because one thing about social media, they allow all these racists and all these white supremacists to come out here and say the stuff they say because look, they're already talking. Now I'm gonna show y'all something. If you ain't follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter at True Virgo Child LB. Right? Right. Now look at this. Man, he put some hands on that guy. Look at this guy already. Look at it. Should not just be suspended. He should be arrested for assault. Didn't I tell you that they already come out here talking that shit about us, about filing assault charges and all that? I know how these races are, man. Now let's look at the clip. Oh, see right there, right there. Did you see that? Did y'all see that? When Jawan Howard went up to Greg Wisconsin coach, the Wisconsin coach initiated contact first. Did y'all see that? Right there. Right there. Now, see, they're not going to talk about this. The white media ain't going to talk about how this guy right here initiated contact. Now, we just saw an incident out in New Jersey last week where you had a white guy initiate contact, right, starting all kinds of bullshit at the mall. And then the black kid basically went up to quell the situation, fisticuffs ensued, and then next thing you know, you got two white cops tackling the black kid and then leaving the white kid out just to be observant. But see, they're not going to focus on the fact that this guy right here initiated contact first. They're not going to talk about that. They're not going to focus on the fact that this guy right here initiated contact first. So no, all this white splaining about we just wanted to have a good game and all that nonsense, man. I don't, man. No, you don't put your hands on nobody outside of shaking hands. If we ain't shaking hands, you don't put your hands on me. Period. I don't care what the final score is. Yeah, you might not. I don't agree with timeout being called and all that when the game was well in hand. And yeah, Juwan Howard has a right to be pissed off and whatnot, but don't put your hands on me. If we not shaking hands at the after the game, saying it was a good game, whatever like that, right? And I'm going about my business, don't put your hands on me. Don't touch me if I don't touch you. And they're not going to talk about that. They're not going to talk about this coach here putting his hands on Juwan. Look how he got Juwan Howard. They're not going to talk about that. Look at his hands. What are you doing, Greg Gard? I would punch your ass too. But this is the thing, right? They're going to attack. You already know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? All these debate shows with that snitch Stephen A. with goddamn on Triple Bass Mouth Shannon Sharp. All these, this is going to be the first topic on these debate shows tomorrow. And it's going to be all about Juwan Howard committing a Bush League play and that he should have known better and he's the leader of men and all that stuff. They're not gonna use white people to demonize Juwan Howard. No. They're gonna use the crash test dummies in the mainstream media, the front Negroes, the black man. You're gonna use a black man to demonize another black man on these debate shows tomorrow. Watch what I tell you. ESPN, Fox Sports 1, it's going down. It's gonna be like clockwork. Watch what I tell you. Stephen A. Smith will come out there tomorrow and talk about, well, I like Juwan Howard and I've known him for a long time. I had dinner with his family and I really respect Juwan Howard. But come on, my brother, this is not the way you should have done that. And then he gonna go into long-winded diatribe about how he should know better and he should do better and that I think he gonna come up with all kinds of fire and brimstone and vitriol when it comes to Juwan Howard, because that's what Stephen A. Smith does. But when it comes to these white folks out here, he want to hit them with kid gloves. We got to be more sympathetic. We got to show empathy and all this other stuff. That bastard is going to crucify Juwan Howard tomorrow. Watch what I tell you. See, they're not going to focus on this. Now let's play the clip one more time. See how Juwan Howard grabbed this shirt. See how Juwan Howard jacked him up right there for putting his hands on Juwan Howard for putting his hands on Juwan Howard. See how Juwan Howard grabbed him by his shirt, pretty much jacked him up. Let's continue on.
We told you Juwan Howard was not happy about that timeout. No, Juwan Howard just threw right hands. And now we got a scrum. We have a scrum in Madison. Players are pushing each other. This is an ugly scene. This is an ugly scene.
And that's what went down in the game earlier today against Wisconsin. So, like I said before, we got to see what happens tomorrow morning if my premonitions come to pass. Because when it comes to the dominant society, they don't have a new playbook when it comes to demonizing black men. It's the same old thing over and over again. They're gonna call him a thug. They're gonna call him they're gonna call him everything under the sun. They're gonna rake this man's name through the coals. And you've seen what they do with black people, black men who don't even have a criminal record, right? Guy could be a law-abiding citizen, and they'll still find a way to demonize his name. And then you got Juwan Howard throwing a punch at a referee. At an assistant coach. Watch what I tell you what happens tomorrow. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Political Channel LB. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share these videos on your social media platforms. Last but not least, shouts out to the mighty, untouchable, unguardable Lions Den basketball community. This your man. Scream at me. Oh!